No, I'm not reading it all out. I'm just putting that she says, I've been thinking about Grandma and Grandpa a lot, but when and how hard it was for her, but then I think how happy that they must be together now that they're back together. Grandpa was such a kind and giving man, and Grandma was a gentle soul. They would do anything to make each other happy. For me, that is an example of true love. Right, and then there's something that I just picked this one. Right, and I'm finished after this. There was a young woman who had been diagnosed with a terminal illness and had been given 3 months to live. So as she was getting her things in order, she contacted her rabbi and had come to her house, and had asked him to come to her house to discuss certain aspects of her final wishes. She told him which songs she wanted sung at the service, what scriptures she would like read, and what outfit she wanted to be buried in. Everything was in order and the rabbi was preparing to leave when the young woman suddenly remembered something very important to her. There's one more thing, she says, excitedly. What's that? Came the rabbi's reply. This is very important. The young woman continued, I want to be buried with a fork in my right hand. The rabbi stood looking at the young woman, not knowing quite what to say. That surprises you, doesn't it? The young woman asked. Well, to be honest, I'm puzzled by the request, said the rabbi. The young woman explained. My grandmother once told me this story, and from that time on, I have always tried to pass along this message to those I love and those who are in need of encouragement. In all my years of attending socials and dinners, I always remember that when the dishes of the main course were being cleared, someone would inevitably lean over and say, "Keep your fork." It was my favourite part because I knew that something better was yet to come, like velvet chocolate cake or deep dish apple pie, something wonderful and with substance. So I just want people to see me there in the casket with a fork in my hand, and I want them to wonder what's with the fork. Then I want you to tell them, keep your fork, the best is yet to come. The rabbi's eyes welled up with tears of joy as he hugged the young woman, obviously a faithful rabbi. Goodbye, yeah, goodbye. He knew this. Oh, I wasn't being cynical. He knew this would be one of the last times he would see her before her death. But he also knew that the young woman had a better grasp of heaven than he ever did. She had a better grasp of what heaven would be like than many other people twice her age, with twice as much experience and knowledge. She knew that something better was coming. At the funeral, people were walking by the young woman's casket and they saw the cloak she was wearing and the fork placed in her right hand. Over and over, the rabbi heard the question, "What's with the fork?" And over, he smiled.
Take your time.
Over and over. It was higher up than I thought. During his message, the rabbi told the people of the conversation he had with the young woman shortly before she died. He also told them about the fork and about what it symbolized to her. He told the people how he could not stop thinking about the fork and told known that they probably would not be able to stop thinking about it either. He was right. So the next time you reach down for the fork, let it remind you ever so gently that the best is yet to come. Friends are a very rare jewel indeed. They make you smile and encourage you to succeed. They lend an ear, they share a word of praise, and they always want to open their hearts to us. And the reason why that was an important thing that I found is because many times after everyone went to bed, when Arthur had slept through the last part of the Seder or whatever, he came alive at 2 o'clock in the morning and chatted to me a lot, like we'd be up till 4 o'clock in the morning. And he was always saying, what's it all about? And I know he was afraid of the end. And the best is yet to come. We hope that he's with his wife. Right, I call upon a member of the family. Yeah, did I? Yeah. Madeline is going to say a few words. So it's a surprise, I didn't, do you want to come here? Madeline is Ian's first cousin. From Rehoboth.
Yeah. From Cardiff, that's more important.
Stand up.
Oh, do you want me to?
No. It was only a short thing, because I was 21 when I left Cardiff, so my memories are basically childhood memories, and I wasn't aware, apart from cages, I really wasn't aware of all these wonderful things, and I'm sure many of them came after I left home. But as a child, I remember he was a teacher. Didn't he ride around on a bike before he was a car?
He used to have a little seat as well. I used to sit with him.
They
They used to sing songs about him in school. About old man reading his bike.
Well, what I remember is, those of you who are British remember the 11 plus, which you had to know English, general knowledge and arithmetic. And of course we all swatted for that, and the teachers in school taught us that. He used to come to our house once a week with the workbooks, and a naughty little boy from up the road, his mum also wanted him to swat for the 11 plus, and he used to patiently take us through the exercises. I don't know what we did, we passed the exam, and he had infinite patience. I do remember him as quiet, as unassuming, but authoritative. And we had many Seder nights together, many family events together. And yes, they were a lovely, really lovely couple, my Auntie Fran and my Uncle Arthur. And that's basically what I want to say, how I remember him with many fond memories. And I'm sorry that all the years that I was here and they were there, we really didn't see very much of them. You know, only when they came to visit, we came up to Malaya Domin to meet up with them. He always had something to say about the Cardiff community and then the Manchester community. And that's really a wonderful man. I'm sure a wonderful grandfather too.
We enjoyed it.
That's it, really.
Thank you.
Yes, no, my pleasure.
Yes.
Sorry, did I not do it?
Okay, so now I'm going to ask you, getting used to the Welsh accent.
You're not Welsh.
I'm not
Just remember.
Never be Welsh.
Irish.
You know, without
Okay, so I call upon Mr. Ben Freeman, who's going to explain what he's reading and whatever. And
Cardiff.
from Cardiff, another one.
Very well. Of course.
It's only this evening that I was asked to read this email, I presume, that was sent by a lady whose name is Jean Evans from Cardiff. And just before I read it to you, I would like to tell you that my wife and I knew Jean Evans very well indeed. And we were always amazed at how heavy Israel we had in Wales. They loved Israel, loved the Jewish people. And eventually, when she was given a kind of a post that I think was created especially for her by the Israeli embassy, she was in charge of Hasbara in South Wales on behalf of both the embassy and the Jewish community. She was a teacher of religion originally in the school. She wasn't Jewish, I'll explain. And she used to go around to all the main high schools and primary schools and arrange for the teachers and the children at times to attend the Pennyland Synagogue in Cardiff for meetings, occasional meetings in the evenings where there would be a lecture to explain what was going on in Israel and the reasons why things went on in Israel that were portrayed in a very negative manner by both the British press and the BBC. Later on it got much worse because I think it was Gaddafi of Libya who started to finance the Welsh National Party. And from that date onwards, the anti-Semitism in Wales was spurred on and became much worse. And every time there was a letter in the South Wales Echo, every time somebody got up at some public meeting and made an anti-Semitic or anti-Israeli remark, the next day Jean Evans would be on the phone, would have written a letter, and would have dealt with the matter in her own superb, genuine way. I attended many meetings in shul halls which were crammed packed with non-Jewish teachers, non-Jewish clergy, non-Jewish people generally whom she had whipped around, explained what was wrong, and they turned up at these Jewish meetings. And it makes me, I must, in this context, mention that I had a secretary. I was in practice in Cardiff for 38 years, and I was very fortunate that I had the same secretary for all those years. And my wife and I have entertained her many times in Cardiff, in Netanya, where we lived for 20 odd years, and also before we moved to Mala Domain. And Ida, her name is, and she said to us many, many times, I tell them I've been there. What you've just heard on the BBC is lies. And we took her from north to south and east to west when she used to come on holidays to us. And always used to write us letters to say, I just had the most terrible experiences. But I was able to tell them in the end, it's all lies, because I've been there and I know what a wonderful country it is and what wonderful people is there. And that's why at this stage, when I talk about the way she looked at things and the wonders of the regeneration and rejuvenation of our people in our homeland, that I will now read this email and what she writes, particularly her emphasis on the word Bashert.
Can you wait? Ian's not heard it. I left it as a surprise.
Oh, sorry.
So we just have to go and get something. Sorry.
But while we're waiting just for a moment for him to come back, what was said earlier about the Welsh connection in Zionism and Aliyah to Israel is something that was brought home to me some years ago when I went for the first time to visit an old friend of mine in Pardes Hana, and we were taken to see a friend of his in Carcool, just outside Pardes Hana, and we were shown introduced to an elderly family who had bought land there from South Wales, who had bought land in Carcool in the 1920s, and they had come out here, built a wonderful home and plantation in Carcool, and they grew raspberries from which petal is made. Petal. And all over Israel, when people were buying raspberries, you don't see them very much nowadays, but at one time they were very popular. They all came from Carcool, from the product of that Welsh Jewish family. I would like to read now this email from Jean Evans from South Wales. Thank you for giving me the honour and privilege of contributing to this memorial. I believe in Bashert, and my meeting with Arthur and Francis was definitely Bashert. It was something like 40 years ago when I decided to study Ivrit in the extramural department of Cardiff University. Here I met Francis. I was at the same time teaching religious education at Cardiff High School, which Philip and Ian attended. We became firm friends, and it was not long before I was invited to her home and met Arthur, Philip, Ian and Dave. Arthur was a teacher too. It was a good job. It's no easy matter bringing up 3 headstrong boys. It's to his everlasting credit that he didn't object to Francis's new friend appearing, and if the boys did, they were not allowed to show it. Arthur was the epitome to me of the best kind of man. That was, of course, shaped by his Jewish heritage. He was physically a big man, Francis was small. And